finally found it. I found the scariest manga that I have ever read. Hello beautiful bookworms, my name is Katarina and welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to be talking about a volume 1 of a manga series that I am incredibly interested in and that has made me spook to my core. It's a very interesting manga series and I am hopeful that all of you lovers of horror that only know Junji Ito, and rightfully so, can appreciate this new series that has been translated into English and can actually read it with me and get the spooks like I did. I shouldn't say the spooks, I should say more the heebie-jeebies and the real motherfucking cold sweats, because this one is not for fun. I am talking about PTSD Radio by Masahaki Nakayama, and I will for sure search for more of these person's works because, wow, I am at a loss for words. First of all, the art style of this is perfectly done. Second of all, the premise of this is perfectly done. You are not fed information. You just find it if you think a little bit about it. And in between, there are cryptic, strange, horrifying messages of perhaps a god. So I'm just going to read you the back, and it says, the cult horror hit from the creator of Juan Otane comes to print. An unseen hand tugs at your braid. You find an old sealed box with a tangled mess of dark hair inside. In the hallway outside your room, a river of curls is slinking away, an ominous lump at its heart. It won't be long before you feel Oguchi-sama's fingers slithering across your scalp. Before it's too late, tune into PTSD Radio. First of all, this tells you nothing about what this is going to be, except this is going to be a story about hair, which I understand if all of you right now tell me, fuck you, because I do not want to read a horror story about hair, even though Asian culture is filled with horrifying things that have to do with hair, and they're really great at doing that. But no thank you. Why is there a story about hair that I should be like, why should I fucking care? You should. You really, really should. PTSD Radio is a manga that is kind of built to be like a radio station. So in the beginning of this edition of the manga, you have creepy illustrations, you have hair, but you also have this. And if you can see this, it's like different radio frequencies that have to do with each of the chapters that you are reading. Now, I only read one volume, so I'm not going to see if there's a connection between the radio stations or the radio codes and the story going on. However, I will for sure do that when I have one more volume and I can talk a little bit more about this. But that first thing is intriguing because it's like every single chapter and every single story is kind of a channel on the radio. Secondly, the way that this is played is that chapters can be a little bit big or a little bit small. There's even one chapter that's like 2 pages, I believe. And I think it's the first one. But you will see that you have a recurrent appearance of some characters. However, you will not have a recurrent and specific beginning to end timeline. So what PTSD Radio does brilliantly, and what the author Nakayama does amazingly, is that this story is not specifically tuned, let's just say, to a sequential timeline. You have a place that appears, I'm going to say this again, appears, because I'm not sure, I haven't read more than this volume, to be the same place in different epochs of time, in different ages of humankind, and with different characters. However, you have bits and pieces of stories intermingling with one another. And in the beginning, it's not very clear, but I do believe that I should transmit this idea to you guys because I have heard some people saying it's a bit confusing. And I think it's confusing if you don't understand that you're like in the same place, but in different timelines, especially in different timelines for the same characters. So it will not start always with the beginning of a timeline. So sometimes begins in the end, and then you will get to the beginning, and you will start to see a connection between all of these characters and all of these situations going on to each of the characters. So obviously it has to do with the deity. I can for sure tell you, because in the back, that this deity is not very nice. But at the same time that you are reading stories, and this is how I think and why I think that Nakayama is a master, or of the kind and of the horror genre, is that through the art style, first of all, there are some really creepy drawings, and I'm not talking like Junji Ito creepy, because Junji Ito is like body horror and gross, but it's kind of like fun in a way. Like, how did he thought about doing this? PTSD Radio is not fun. It's like, holy shit, this is too fucking graphic, okay? At least it's my opinion. And the masterful way that Nakayama creates panels is that the scares are normally at the turn of the page. So you finish one page and you're going to start another, and you are screaming because there's something there that should not be. But at the same time, the pacing of PTSD Radio is so well done that it's slow and steady, but makes you feel unease throughout the entirety of the volume. You know that you can turn the page and see something creepy. You might not to, but there are odds that you may. And there's these figures in between chapters that start to appear and that start to show the reality of themselves, which is a horrifying reality. The time lapses of these figures are also not always from beginning to end. It can be from middle to beginning, or from middle to end, or from beginning to end, or from end to beginning. And that's what makes them creepy, because you're not sure of what the figure and image that is being constructed is like. And so you're always in an uneasy process. Also, in between chapters, when the chapter finishes, there's just a black page and some letterings, like phrases, and it could be a calling to this strange god. I don't know, but I'm going to write them all in paper right next to each other and see if it's like a curse or a calling of this deity or something else, because it's fucking creepy how you see the turning of the pages and the turning of the images, and then just those little phrases that don't appear to have anything to do with the stories, but then they do, and it's really, everything is creepy. Everything in this manga is creepy. Everything in this manga has a reason to be there. I do not believe for a second that any single panel is not considered the main thing and the thing that you have to have your focus on. And even the panels that are very horrifying are there for a reason, and the panels that are not are also there for a reason, and they have detail, a lot of detail in between all of these. And I just find PTSD Radio amazing. I would like to write horror as this person draws and narrates the horrifying situations that are happening. And it's kind of like this sort of, because it's it's a manga about hair, okay, and it's kind of like a hair deity, and it's kind of like a funny sort of horror in your mind. Like you're right there thinking, why does this bitch is afraid of a hair deity? Bitch, how am I not? That's what I'm telling you. If you read this, you will understand. It's creepy. It's clearly based on Japanese folklore and ancient traditions, but also in the fears of our mundane lives and on things that happened. Like, it has thematics of bullying. It has thematics of like ancient roots and being true to your roots. It has thematics of how to adore the deities that you should adore and how not to. And it has thematics of how the society and the places where this curse is change across times and across ages, but the story is always there. And I think it's very intriguing, and everything that it's like folkloric and urban legendy in a way always makes me spooked, and this is no exception. And if you love horror, and if you are okay with trigger warnings for possible heart attacks at every page, and with some bullying, some aggressive situations, a lot of deformities happening, if you're okay with that, please, if you call yourself a horror reader, if you call yourself a manga reader even, because the way these panels are done, every person that loves manga should read them because it's the perfect way. If you like horror, even if you don't like, but like art, read PTSD Radio. It is incredible. So that's all that I have to say on the matter. If you like it, leave a like or subscribe, and hopefully you guys will have heard about this, and if not, you will run to the shop and get this, because I really feel like it's one that you guys are going to like. Particularly the people that really love my reviews of Junji Ito and always talk about that. This one is like one step up, not with the creativity and like horrible body horror, but with the creativity of panels and art style and like this mysterious uneasiness that just creeps you out. I think that you guys will enjoy it a lot. So tell me in the comments down below if you've read it or if you plan to read it. And that's going to be all for today. So happy readings to you all. Bye!